be a Luke Skywalker. Locate the sky first, which is reality, and or outer space if you're interested. If you're watching this, it's available to you. You know, you can achieve singularity by way of being interested, first of all, right? You're interested, but it's more of the word. The word is called curious. We hear the word interest when they talk about money, which is interesting, right? It is. The money talk actually is not hiding much there. Are you interested in anything? And is that what you're doing for money? And how about this paying attention kind of a thing? Which brings me to the subject matter of your narcissist, who they pay attention to an on-off signal, basically, is just coming from a very primitive part of what it is to be an organism, basically. Yeah, and see, we suspect, well, they keep talking about that. See, I don't want to get off the subject matter to tell you how important it is that you know that they are just a mechanism, that it starts and is very apparent and is working like unconsciously, whether you know it like it or not. The child, by the time it's age 3 or 4, it does a survival skill called mimicry. Now that word, it's mimicry, right? The mimicry. Uh, anyway, we'll look into some of these things as just coincidental, maybe. But no, a human being can do a puzzle and link it up. And that's what's amazing, right, about the human being, because they can just have fun. It's called humoring, by finding a flow and a connection some way, somehow, man. You know, with the non-human faction, you're a narcissist. Easy to missay that word, right? We just say narcissist and fuck it, you know. And so anyway, yeah, they have a sense of humor that kind of draws a blank on you, right? They have transferred a fluoride stare onto you, because you don't want to. If you're anything like me, you will not do a fake laugh. No, not for the life of you. No, because that's a fake life, and we're done mimicrying, right? Mimicry is a survival mechanism. It's cute and everything, and narcissists think that it's love that the child is doing, and it's like, no, you wish that your children were born knowing how to love things, but that takes time to cultivate, and you have to be around people who are achieved as human beings. Very complicated, right? Really, what is it? See, if it is the universal ecology based in humanism, yeah, talk about humanism, right? And not dehumanizing, then we would have such a different looking civilization, and even, yeah, it would be actually a human civilization, you know, because we haven't seen that yet, folks. We don't really see it yet. Yeah, if you consider becoming human as is like the main curriculum here, in order to get full access to the universe, if there were other planets, and the ability to even say, let's just say that we can become creators of worlds, or to own a solar system yourself and have dominion over a vibrational frequency on a realm such like as what's happening on Earth and Satan owns over there. Could happen for you. That's what we're trying to do. You know, if you know any of this literature, and can even imagine from where it comes from at all, because you will not know unless you had an actual experience. The saying goes is to bring heaven down to earth. See, on earth as it is in heaven. See, the heavens, what's that? Well, that's great to be able to find yourself locative of them now, because that's what it is. It's nothing hocus pocus. It's important to wash away that hocus pocus fact the church did create of pretty much all mankind via having stole the upper spectrum away from the sight of mankind, turning them into a parasite, as well as dysfunctioning the upper spectrum leaders, who is women. How am I doing now, Christ? Am I doing great? Oh, girl, you are fucking in deep shit now. Well, that's all right. I'm already going to court. I'm there. I mean, give me a sleeping bag. There's a bush there. I can sleep under it. What is this anyway? Could you stop? Thank you. Good God. Christ over there still hanging on a shish kebab and trying to make sense out of that. Can't do that much anymore, I don't think. Although there is a proverbial being lost in translation, you know, I guess like being hung on the cross. And that's because nobody knows how to say anything, really. They don't really realize that talking is meant for something. Some vague, odd reason. See, I was suggesting to bring heaven down to earth, bring heaven to earth. That's the ideal, which is really, it's nothing hocus pocus. I mean, we can get more modern day here and update our language, which that's why I'm here, folks. And see, as a Buddhist master, we don't really like to just tell you, because the narcissist, mimicry. That's the way they get along with you and everybody. If you're not careful, babes, if you're a super sensitive empath, well on your way, babes. You're a human being, most likely. You just don't know it. You're achieved as love. You're sitting there going, first of all, why do these people think that they can hide their energetic grabs from us? And then secondly, yeah, do they not know that we can see how they're operating as far as that mimicry, where they're basically dormant, right? They are not a person there. There is nobody there. That's what's the saddest, most like bleak experience you could have, that there isn't anybody home there. I need to shut up this particular stove here because it's getting hot on top of me being hot, right? And that's like, woo, you know, pardon me while I do this, and you can see kind of partly how I function, I guess. But no, getting back to yes, um, it's okay. You know, you can have some kind of thing like that and live, can't I? You got to watch out for the institutionalized life out there. Which, having said that, please send a coin. I mean, after all, I was working on. Hi, how are you? I was working on creating a central banking system for the human faction. It could be the same fucking system. Ow, why did I do that? Your entertainment. It could be the same system that's operating out there, but see, you have to go to higher courts of law, and now you're going to be so-called heard. Supposedly there's an ear there in the word heard, and so you go there and you yell into it. But they're using the right language, and it's important to at least take some of it seriously, a little bit. As if intelligence was here and it was emulating and emanating through the blah, blah, blah. Unlike a narcissist, see, not doing mimicry so much, not the survival move of just fitting in and playing the charades game because you're staying safe, which you have been taken. That's okay to have a group think like that, but what if you're taken by the enemy? See, you have to simplify and then say, no, that's what you're doing. Is see, it's simple. Otherwise, the collective would not exist as a oneness. It's very simple here. You know, you can really just route it down to what color is the sky, kids? Most of them, if they've learned the space language of the English alphabet derivative, they would say blue. Yeah. And then there would be similar things that they point at that says, yeah, and that's blue, and that's the example of blue, because you can hardly touch the sky, right? And say, look, there it is. No. But, and we can get more scientific. See, more scientific would let you know it's purely electrical. That darn thing up there, when you look at it, and it is given the chance to be its natural virgin self, it is blue because it's highly electrical. It's actually letting us know that there is animated life here, because all life on Earth is animated through electricity. And so that's an electric plasmatic field out there. Entertainers and people that can address the collective. Which collective? Did you know that there's two collectives? Yes. And it's possible to hear the one collective being hemmed at through politics and religion and all that shit. Like, go to that school over there and ask them what the truth is. Woo! Ah, yeah, yeah. You know, the best you can do is find a child who is waiting patiently, but ever so piss and vinegar, for recess to get out there and avoid the sandbox, right? Maybe they're swinging. They see the fences around and they're like, you know, at least we get out of here by 3 o'clock. That bell rings and I go back to my main interest. Yeah. The thing that I'm really paying attention. Or is it actually paying attention to you? See, there's something called spirit that a lot of materialists, you don't know what spirit is. You've lost connection. In fact, it's in you, but it's gone. You're like, ah! And what I'm hearing, well, why did you do that? Sorry. God. You know, us innocent people here, human beings, go through a lot of fucking punishment just for being who we want to be and who we are. I'm sorry. See, we can feel sorry for the malignant cases out there. Not really. I mean, if you're a woman, babes, if you're a woman, you just say, in a matter of time. I mean, what do you want to do? If you want to make full good use of your life, again, go to court, sit on the steps. Do you need a sleeping bag? If you have some kind of injustice that you felt was happened towards you, it should, and you actually call yourself a Christian, it should behoove you to just give it all up and say, thank you for these leather seats. It's not as warm as I would keep it in these cold hallways, but hey, I got a fucking wool pulling over my eyes even. Let's do it. You got a coffee and a piece of donut? Who are these people? Oh my God, Cyclops. It's an inside joke, by the way. My attorney is Cyclops right now until I learn to buy my own. And how about that? Like, is it a friend? Is there a friend? Of course there should be. And see, this is the thing, is that if you go in there more and more with your humanity. Hi, Christ, am I doing good? Girl, you are fucking crazy, but I like you. Would you please? No, I want to fix your hair. Would you stop? Yeah, I'm a ventriloquist now? Yeah, girl, you better just keep talking and pretend like it's Christ coming through. Not Christ coming through. I'm Shauna. I'm just the girl next door who pushed her out because I work at the garage, ripping people off. Stealing people's cars. Sorry, that's another inside joke. Criminal, by the way, 100%. Anybody that works over there and over there will say, yeah, that shit, I work really hard just to give them that much money to do a job that Shauna could do for $60, and you're charging me $360? And you think you're smart. And who do you work for again? Anyway, it's a weird place we're at right now, right? And it's like, of course you go through the courthouse. You don't have a real life if you haven't found yourself sitting there going, oh, me? Yeah. Is it lunch? I'm hungry. You know, how are you doing? Did you? Yeah, yeah. You gotta love the Aquarius moon. You see, I have an Aquarius moon, and apparently Pluto is going to be like conjuncting our moon. It's going to be fucking with Aquarius for the next 20 years. And Aquarius, you know what? Aquarius? When it starts dancing with Pluto, Uranus is gonna be like, no, the truth's not gonna be electrocuted. See, it's just gonna turn into a neon sign. And it's like, the truth is turning into a neon sign? Yeah. And if you can imagine them fuckers over there that don't like to even to hear the word. Sorry, I'm not picking on any one person, but it is kind of funny to see how a word can make these people hurt, but really they do hurtful things. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that that word was so powerful. They react. It's the truth. They don't want to know which side it's on. See, there's good truths and there's bad truths. See, it's all the truth, but you know, you can look up some dark alleys at some dark ass truths. If you don't look at it, it's probably the biggest fucking lesson you have coming. Yeah, yeah. No matter how much you deny it. In fact, is that how you got that way? Now, talking about the problem of what results in not having discipline at the mouth. See, Christ, am I doing great? Girl, you better shut up. You see, I made that sacrifice for you. Really? What kind of sacrifice was that? Well, you know, I just said something. Really? You just said? Yeah, it was all about saying. Would you stop doing this? And we'll get back to that conversation. Wow, really? What do you think? Really? Really? what the fuck was going on in that movie? And why can't we ever forget about it? See, we do have Neptune going back into Pisces along with Saturn there once and for all. See, we hit November already and we're doing one last spell. I mean, like it's a literal spell. Undoing. It's actually a time to see how you've been put under a spell through the Roman Catholic occupation. Some people won't say it as blatantly as I know how to do, but no, it's out there. Yeah, no, those people there that teaches you to worship a human sacrifice, that's satanic. And that person who sacrificed herself in order for you to see something, so that there could be a glimmer of something in there that can continue to live on and say no, and actually there is an afterlife. That's what that scientist was saying, really just a woman. A woman would know that more, don't you think? I mean, if you just start thinking with me a little bit, my good God, even even a man could maybe sip a couple sips off this brandy and think, oh, that does make sense. And also, I mean, no, I mean, God, if we can insert the missing link, reach for it. Sorry, anyway, and then pop comes the next step of your evolution is to become very much like a woman. You can grow your hair as much as you want. John and Jesse and Joe and James and Jesus and whoever the fuck you are, and your beard. But your deficit is still there. You're a half-baked entity. For whatever reason, you are privileged to be the servants of the leaders here who are women. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Not that dead thing over there that complies and says, really is just a function. Talk about mimicry. Talk about that nervous system that is just an on and off signal. It's just an on and off signal. That's the way that a lot of this whole entire fucking maze of the Matrix, satanic wash, is being governed just by an on and off signal. You've heard it, right? Your vote for any president. Those two presidencies, left and right, and up, especially up the middle, because you have to find a solution because none of them are working right. We both see they're insane. Well, you have to find another solution, which is the same. It's all the same occupation there. A bunch of lies. You can call them aliens, I guess. They're laughing at whatever tries to evolve here. Simply, it is something that is so profoundly potent that if you see you just are in a complete state of forgetfulness, right? You might have gotten a glimpse and you may have had a question. Talk about when you were 3, 4, 5, 6, but then shut down. Then you were shut down somehow, some way. No, I mean just your brain trying to take on the real knowledge of it. But see, here's the thing. We're not going to experience that fucking overload and possible suicide attempts or whatever goes on with people who fucking figure out that they've been living a lie and they think it's too late. That's why that they say, oh, I got to get out of here. But see, here's the thing is that it happens naturally. It happens naturally that it's like, okay, so your soul, it's getting too big for your body. And you have to go. Call a high priestess. By the way, nothing is really going to change. Most of you Christians, you are rendered up away from your real God connection. You're not really worshiping the truth within and without. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a worship. Babes, it would just be a quiet, like you're just going to look at each other like this and say, fuck yeah, we made it to the wilderness here. If somebody else disagrees, even though you're standing in a righteous wilderness and there's a fucking creek in the back where you used to fish trout out, who's the mad one there? I mean, don't you think you should go to court first before they start trying to fucking do reactive abuse on you? I think so. But if you're lucky, they tell on themselves by doing gossip and because they're fear, and they think they're righteous and they have just too much arrogance and it's fear driven. It's fucking fear driven. So they don't really have any. See, the fear is coming from not having a foundation under you. If you can imagine walking a tightrope without having the pole and being blindfolded and not even knowing how to do it. You just, is that a rope that you ended up on now? Really? No, they took you away from that tightrope walk, actually, which is your real life. You want the life which makes you feel alive with all of this stuff that you have to get to know, growing up out of the Mimi cry, right? Growing up out of your need to just fit in. See, there's a mechanism that starts early, and this is where narcissism, this is where what we don't like about narcissists is that there's nobody there, it's just mimicry. See, if they want to stay in with you, like if they want, see, they usually want a relationship with a healthy, confident person, which is rare to find. See, here in the West, they're not going to tell you, but in the East, it's well known that the thing we're doing here on this plane, and this is your religion, by the way, this is your religion, is that you have to seek. You have to seek the master. You have to seek somebody who knows a little bit more than you. It happens naturally. It happens naturally. And but see, but there they just celebrate it though. Like the seasons happen naturally, but it's celebrated. That's what they're doing. They're celebrating a phenomena within the organism that has the potential to become human, that has to seek its enlightenment from a guru. I say that very, very like, oh, hi, Jesus, how love it. Girl, good luck. I was a guru too, and yeah, you were too, yeah, and all right. By the way, my material, yours or mine? Just hardly 3 pages long. Maybe a story about walking through, and people wanted to know what God was like, but see, we're living in a time right now where we're armoring up. I mean, it's some kind of video game where if you can follow me, if you can hear me, 27 minutes of pure channeling with humor and trying to alert, to awaken, and make you feel safe, really, as a human being. See, if you're a human being, you do not feel safe right now. No, it's very difficult. You're acting like and the safety measures that you are taking is actually creating more bondage, and not to the right things. See, you're not really bonded together. You're not working together. No, not in your own neighborhood, not even here on social media, which was actually designed for one specific reason, is to access people who are capable of being friends. I was trying to tell you that. See, it's important that you start using your words like that a friend isn't just, it's not just everybody's thing. See, you'll see cliques and gangs and mobs out there, and you think that they're friends, but no, they're not a friend to each other. They're backstabbers of each other, and they're living in bondage. They are miserable. This is the way it works. See, Indians know, that people of India, um, the phenomena of, well, it could be that you're living isolated, but but see, now if you may see each other every day, but you don't really speak. See, the master knows that now in time you're going to need to speak to each other. You're going to need something from each other. See, the master is there because you need to know something from the master. See, the master is also a student too. It's a constant meeting of confluence and learning. It's never the same, okay? This is the beauty of our lives. See, this is why, it could be why. I mean, boy, if it starts increasing that we keep, I was just about to say, if we keep having men on the earth, we're going to have to keep having women on the earth, counter measuring. And and a lot of people would say, well, this is a financial thing. It's not about men and women. It's like, kind of, I don't know. But, women are in crisis, and men are just like, duh. What's wrong with you? Do I have another 25 minutes or 35 minutes to explain to you what's going on here? How that it just turns out that these non-evolved entities are sending part of the organism, which mainly are women. See, it's the women's thing that they have to go through to find out that there's an unreliable person. They aren't reliable as a human being. They're reliable as a slave driver. They are reliable as somebody who wants to break you down. See, the society we have now that consists of men, mainly, that's the workforce, those aren't really men. because we don't really have women here. The church has killed them all. And now this may have happened less than 2,000 years ago. Maybe more like 1,000. We don't know. Okay, so more like 1,000 years ago, that there was still pyramids and hustling and bustling society that was much, I would say, bigger. But what I mean is that they grew themselves singularly by just saying, no, we belong to the truth here. And of course, this is all ours. Nobody is stealing an idea and then hoarding it and saying, now trickle it out. And yeah, right, Rockefeller, hello. Yeah, I was gonna tell you about, but can you think with me? Look at what is happening in society. 92% of it is ran on this. Okay, these words I don't like because I'm not a biased person. I think everybody can be a good friend to everybody, even to themselves. They don't need to wake up spiral-eyed to the system and thinking, okay, all I gotta do is just go work for money and then manipulate somebody with that money. Who's that somebody, Shauna, who's being manipulated? Oh, a lot of times, women, right? But then men can fall. No, men are fucking succumb to the damn system too. It's the system out there that's playing a joke and it's just laughing because because the organism is taken away from a very simple but very powerful fact of knowing something about themselves, which is the natural order of things. There are just men and women here, and women are the leaders, the bleeders.